What'd you say? I don't know. You'll haven't heard of it anything there in years, but yeah, check it out. Yeah, that's convenient. Ready? Let's go child's pose, knees wide. The sounds of nature, the sounds of lawnmowers. Yeah. There's something about being outside that just makes you feel better. Yes. So, yeah, you just kind of like, nothing's perfect. There's going to be like funky bricks popping into your knee, probably. Just kind of roll with it. And today's practice is all about just moving and breathing and getting grounded and restoring ourselves, finding some energy. I think that's a good goal. Spread the palms wide, soften the seat back towards the heels, activate your arms, and then connect to your breath. Ujjayi breathing, inhale is through the nose to the back of the throat. Exhale through the nose to the back of the throat. And you just start to feel the movement of your breath as it kind of slides through the back of the throat and your body starts to just receive it. At any point during the practice, you could revisit, of course. Good. Rock your weight forward. Let's press up onto all fours and into a tabletop position. I always take my hands so they're a little bit more narrow underneath the shoulders. I do this with the toes curled into the mat. I find a little bit more stability. Basic movement, sink the spine down and look forward. And then exhale, round the spine deeply and look in. And we'll go just like that for cat and cow, sinking the spine down and looking forward. Exhale, rounding and looking in. Again, inhale, sinking spine down and looking forward. Exhale, rounding and looking in. Come to a flat back tabletop position. Let's curl the right leg, the right toes into the mat so the right thigh bone lifts up. So just kind of like a half plank. And then float the right leg up so it's about hip height. And then reach the left arm forward so it's opposite arm and opposite leg. I like this because it just creates a sense of stability kind of early in the practice. So the moving of the left arm is forward and the extension of the right leg is back. And you could flex or you could point, it doesn't matter. And then reach the left arm back and then see if you can bend your right knee crease. Now, this may or may not work for you to grab your foot, your ankle. So if it doesn't work, don't stress, just create the shape. That's fine. Steer the chest forward, anchor the right palm into the mat, and just breathe. Release the arm and the leg in opposite directions. Hand and knee to the floor. Good. Curl the left toes into the mat. Activate that left leg so the thigh bone is just lifted. The pelvis is neutral. Float the leg up so it's just in space. I do everything in steps because I never know what's going to happen with the balance. Right. Right arm reaches forward. So now it's opposite arm and opposite leg. Right arm reaches back, bend at the knee crease. You may just find bending at the knee crease and kind of holding your body in space is where you're at today. If you can get hold of your foot or your ankle, fire it up. So you steer the chest forward. Should feel a nice stretch across that left thigh bone. Left palm presses down into the mat. Release the arm and the leg in opposite directions. Hand and knee come down. Walk the hands forward. Yeah. Spread the hands a little wider. Curl the toes and let's lift up to our first dog. Down dog can be taken with very bent knees. Yeah. You can also just work on pedaling out the legs a bunch, moving the right leg, moving the left leg, shimming the hips. Yeah. Breathe the hips way up off the shoulders. And then find some stillness. Sometimes holding your body in this position early in the practice is honestly the hardest part of the class because just kind of settling into how the body feels, the thumb, the index finger, the baby finger, the outer tricep gripping in, finding some stillness, finding your breath, soften where you can soften. Let your head, your neck, your jaw, everything just kind of drop down. From down dog, roll forward to plank. Yeah. Great. Stack your body up nicely here. Lead a little with your chest. Is the sensation of the pulling apart of your hands in opposite directions. Drop your knees down so they're on an angle. You're going to lower halfway to a supported push-up. Yeah, less is more, neck is neutral. Re-straighten your arms so you're back in supported plank. Seat to heels, child's pose. So we're going to move like this. Come forward, rock the weight forward. I'm going to keep the tops of the feet down today. Knees are down, halfway to a supported push-up. Straighten your arms so you're back in supported plank. Seat to heels, child's pose. 2 more. Come forward on the breath. Halfway to a push-up. You can just lower an inch too if you've got any injuries. Re-straighten your arms. Seat to heels. 1 more. Come forward. Halfway to a push-up. Re-straighten. Seat to heels, child's pose. Curl the toes, hips up and back, down dog. That's a great way to modify today. So you could take that at any point during the vinyasa. Good. Step the right foot forward, low lunge. Yeah. Drop the back knee down. Sweep the arms out and up. Supported lunge. It's warm, right? Yeah, it's crazy because it's just like we went from cold to this. Well, we're not complaining. It's always like that. And May is notoriously not a warm month. Like everyone wants them to be warm, but it's not warm. Hands to frame the front foot. Back knee lifts up off the ground. Let's step to a dog. I just want to move you guys today. Yeah, so step the left foot forward. A little less hung up on like traditional flow. Drop the back knee. It should be on an angle so it doesn't feel jammy into the mat. Sweep your arms out and up. So you play. If this doesn't feel good on the lower back, always know you could pull out of it rather than being heavier in it. Hands to frame your front foot. Back knee lifts. Dog. Let's go again. Step the right foot forward. Drop the back knee on an angle. Let's sweep out and up. Supported lunge. Hands back down. Back knee lifts. Down dog. The left foot lands. The back knee drops. Rise. Hands back down. Engage the back right knee. Let's step back dog. Now we'll roll forward plank. Halfway to a push-up. Pick your back bend. So it's up dog or baby cobra. Yeah, you can always have your knees down. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Look to the top of the mat. Take 2 big steps, or maybe more than that to get there. Long spine, keep your weight forward. Exhale, fold, let your head go. Let's root to rise, come all the way up. Drag it to prayer. Drop your arms. Shed some layers. Arms go straight up towards the sky. Dive over, bent knees, forward fold. Let your head go. Long spine to prepare. Let's step to plank. Yeah, halfway to a push-up. Perfect. Up dog or cobra. Your knees can be down if you need to. Hips up and back, down dog. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Arms stay nice and straight. Look where you want to go. You can step. You can float to the top. Get there nice and light. Long spine. Keep your weight forward. Exhale, fold. Root to rise. Come all the way up. Drag it to prayer. Drop your arms. Yeah, arms go straight up. Dive over, bent knees, forward fold. Let your head go. Long spine to prepare. Step to plank. Halfway to a push-up. Up dog or cobra. Modify what you need. Hips up and back, down dog. Keep going like this. Look where you want to go. Step or float, top of mat. Nice. Long spine, weight is forward. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag it to prayer. Drop your arms. Everyone's got good tank tops on. Arms go straight up. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Long spine to prepare. Step, step, or float to a vinyasa. So you're halfway to a push-up. Good. Up dog, press to the hands, the tops of the feet. Hips up and back, down dog. Each one gets a little better. At least I hope so. Look where you want to go. Step or float, top of mat. Long spine. Fold. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag it to prayer. Drop your arms. One more. Arms go straight up. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Long spine to prepare. Just step, step. If you're going to float, we'll always land in a low push-up. Up dog is smooth. Hips up and back, down dog. In your down dog, lift your right leg up and back to a three-legged down dog and hold it in space. You want to lift from your inner thigh. Come forward, hug the right knee in towards the chest. You can just stay in a down dog and do this, Katie, you got it. Hug the right knee a little closer, look forward with your eyes. Step the right foot forward and through, back leg is lifted. Sweep the arms alongside the body and just hover. There's a gripping of your right hip in and an activating of your back left leg. Rise, supported high lunge. Back knee can always drop if you needed to. Yeah. Shoulders soften down the back. Fix your eyes on something that's not moving. Hands to frame your front foot. Let's step to a plank. Halfway to a push-up. Up dog is smooth. Hips up and back, down dog. Breathe the left leg up and back, three-legged down dog. You want to keep everything really squared off, even. Come forward and hug your left knee in and up. Scoop up the belly. Arms are straight up and down. Look forward with your eyes. Land your left foot forward and through. It's a nice big stance. Make sure it's wide enough and it's long enough. Arms just swing back, palms face down. Some days I find this like incredibly challenging to hold. Yes, depends on how tired your legs are. Grip your left hip in, back leg strong, and then rise. And it's helpful sometimes to soften the back knee with the lower back. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be straight, which is good to know. Front thigh bone is sitting deep into that socket of that hip, and the arms are active. Hands to frame your front foot. Vinyasa or just go to dog. Doesn't matter. Just keep moving in some way. The up dog is smooth. Hips up and back, down dog. Now, without even thinking, just land your right foot forward, turn your back foot strong, and then rise warrior one. These look great. Yeah, the left ribs have enough room to kind of spin forward, arms reaching up. Outer blade of your back left foot presses down. To the floor we go. Vinyasa or dog. Up dog is smooth. Hips up and back, down dog. So don't even think about it. Just step the left foot forward. Turn the back foot strong, then rise. Yeah. Back foot on a strong angle, right rib spin. Hands to the floor. Vinyasa or dog, you pick. Find your dog. Hold for a few breaths. Keep the arms really straight. Look where you want to go. You can step, you can float, you can walk, top of mat. Long spine, keep your weight forward. Exhale, fold. You could do this with your feet hips width distance. Some of us have to, or your feet together, you pick. Sit into chair. If I took a poll, I would find that this is probably people's least favorite pose. Yeah. Press up to stand up, drag it to prayer, drop your arms. So you could practice with your feet together or apart, you can pick. Arms go straight up, heavy in your heels for chair. Stick your butt way back. Dive over, bend knees forward, fold, let your head go. Long spine to prepare, step or float through a vinyasa of choice. Once again, you can add or subtract push-ups. You could take them out all together. Same with the back bends. We meet in a dog, and then the right foot lands, the back foot turns on a strong angle, rise, warrior one. To the floor we go, you choose. Step the left foot forward, turn the back foot strong, rise on your breath. Back down we go through your vinyasa. Meet in a dog, take a breath in, take a breath out. Keep your arms nice and straight. Look where you want to go. Step or float, top of mat. Long spine, weight is forward. Fold in half. Sit heavy in your heels for chair. Press up to stand up. Drag it to prayer. Drop your arms. Couple more. Arms go straight up. Heavy in your heels, chair. Stick butt way back. Dive over bent knees. Let your head go. Long spine sets you up. Step, step, float. Vinyasa. When you get to your dog, land the right foot forward, turn the back foot strong, rise. Back down we go. On your beat, left foot lands, back foot turns, rise. To the floor we go. Upward facing. Hips up and back, downward facing. Good. Look where you want to go. Step or float, top of mat. Long spine, weight is forward. Fold. Heavy in your heels for chair. Press up to stand up. Drag it to prayer, drop your arms. Here we go, one more. It's almost over. Arms go straight up, heavy in your heels, stick your butt way back, chair. Then dive over bent knees, forward fold. Good, long spine sets it up, step or float through a vinyasa. Nice and smooth. Right foot lands, back foot turns, rise, warrior one. Good, hands to the floor, chaturanga. Yeah, move yourself, keep going. Left foot lands, back foot turns, rise. Back down we go through a vinyasa. When you press through that up dog, really even through the palms and the tops of the feet, that really helps. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Good work. Step your right foot smack in between your hands. Turn your back foot on a strong angle. Let's stay close to the floor. Yeah, I think you all have blocks, right? Yeah, slide your block to the instep of your right foot. I like to knuckle the block on the back of your right tricep presses and opens this hip, and then the left arm stacks open. Yeah, so it's a B variation of extended side angle. Grip your right hip in. Yes. The left arm straight up is great for a lot of us. Hand to hip or arm can wrap behind your back depending on what's going on. There's a turning of your bottom ribs, so you want to turn it towards the sky. You got it. Heavier in the tailbone as you drop deeper into this. Wrap that thigh open. Turn the collarbone and chest. Look sideways, look up. We're hanging on a few more breaths. Warrior two, pull it up. I find when I come to warrior two, sometimes I have to widen the stance. And then I always look down at the feet and make sure they're not all over the place. Yeah, right foot intersects back, left arch. Arms spread open. It's like, leave me alone. Give me 1 hour. So I can't stand it. My husband installed this like Google camera and it's like constantly alerting me. Like, I don't want to know you're at my house. Like, you know, oh, it's so annoying. Spread the collarbone and the chest. There's movement. It's like a leaf blowing. Now you just get it's dinging constantly. Close your eyes, hold here, 5 breaths. Just feel the sensations that as it kind of creeps through the body. It's kind of neat because you always feel something a little bit different. And then embrace it. See if you can soften into it, relax into it, and leave it behind every breath you take. Circle it to the floor. You're going to hit a plank, okay? And you're going to drop your left knee down. Take your left hand out and roll into a Vashisthasana supported. I want everyone to take this supported. Yeah. Good. Look sideways, look up. Good. If you want to bend your top leg and grab your foot and get a little bit of a psoas stretch, this is a great way to kind of move into this next step. If you have your foot, you're kind of pulling it behind you, so you get that side body opening, a little back bend. Good. Release the right leg, release the right arm. So a little bit of a fun transition. Look to the floor, right hand down. You're going to kind of peel into a little tabletop. The right leg is lifted, okay? Lift up to a 3-legged down dog. The right leg is still in space. Step the right foot forward and through. Turn the back foot at an angle. Cartwheel open again. Warrior 2. Yeah. Reverse the warrior. And then reach way out and place your hand this time outside of foot. I've been placing my block up really high. Yeah, to kind of get into the hip. Arm to top of thigh is a great option. And this time with the left arm, it goes up and over if you have that movement. So you're working inner and outer thigh hip with both of these today. If the arm is up and forward, there's a strong line of energy from the outer blade of your left foot all the way through those left fingertips. And kind of tuck that right hip back under. Only 3 more breaths. Breathe. Eyes to the floor, hands to the floor, plank. Chaturanga now. Up dog is smooth. Hips up and back down dog. Step the left foot forward. Turn the back foot on a strong angle. Stay close to the ground. Left palm down, right arm open. V variation from the ground up. Yeah. So it's a pretty big step. Your back foot on a nice angle. Yeah. I find knuckling the hand keeps me out of my shoulder. Yeah. Right arm can stay straight up. Your hand can just slide to your hip. Your arm can wrap behind your back. Grip your left hip just under you. So you have to kind of tuck it under. And then use the back of your tricep to press your inner thigh open. There you go. Lean back a little bit more. Get the crown of the head to line up with that front foot. Outer blade of your back foot is strong. And there's a steering of that chest open. Strong, powerful legs. Warrior 2, pull it up. Sometimes you have to widen your stance. Lengthen the tailbone. Spread the collarbone in the chest. Soften the shoulders down the back. And then breathe. There's a wrapping of that inner thigh open. And then settle in. 5 or 6 breaths here. You just close your eyes. Relaxing into it. Breathing through it. Circle it to the floor. Hit a plank position. Drop your right knee down. Right hand moves forward a little, and then you roll into a modified side plank. Left leg lifts up. Yeah, you got it. Stay with this. Bend your top leg and see if you can get hold of your foot for the little back bend. Steering of that the right ribs kind of up. Release the leg, release the arm, do the transition slow. Look to the floor, left hand comes down, kind of square it off, and then lift to a three-legged down dog so your left leg is in space. Guide your left foot back, forward, and through. Turn the back foot on a strong angle. Reopen up warrior two, same side. Could flip the palm, reverse a little, feels good. And then reach way out, and this time go to the outside of the foot. I'm gonna go high with the block today, but you can go arm on top of thigh. Right arm straight up or up and forward. The trick is that you want your left shoulder to kind of slide down the back. Yeah. So, yeah, perfect. That's why the block high for a lot of us is good. Gripping of that left hip in, to me, is the hardest part. Turning of those bottom ribs. And a free flow of the breath. Straight line of energy from that right foot all the way through those right fingertips. 2 more. Plank position to the floor we go. Add in the push-up, kind of move it out. Up dog is smooth. Nice. Hips up and back down dog. I want to keep you moving. Right foot forward, back foot turn, smack in the middle. From the ground up, pick your distance for triangle. Yeah. Anywhere across the front of the right shin. So listen, if your back is a little more on the sensitive side, definitely come up a little higher. So Reg, I don't know how you're feeling there, but you could even use the back of your hand to the inner thigh, and this creates a really nice opening. Block to the outside of the calf is a good option. Opening of your heart and chest. And you definitely want to feel like you're leaning back a little without going into that lower back. So creating a strong shape here. Stay with it. Look to the floor, transfer your weight forward. Sometimes this is challenging outside just because you've switched surfaces, but see if you can move your weight forward into a half moon. It's a balancing pose, and you just do your best. You can have your left hand on your hip and your block up super high. I like it over to the right a little. Kind of have to find the sweet spot, and definitely far enough away from your right baby toe that your side rib is long. So we're in a balancing Ardha Chandrasana, stack it open. Sometimes our balance is spot on. Other times it's like we don't have a foot, a right foot. Grip the bottom right hip in. Add in whatever feels appropriate. Half bind, no bind. Lightening your bottom right hand. Yeah. And just kind of playing with being uneven. A little uneven and a little unbalanced in this pose is normal. If you bound yourself up, just release to a regular Ardha. Transitions are everything here. So nice and easy. Look to the floor, square off your hips. Step your feet together or a little separated. I like them a little separated. And then sit immediately into your chair. If you're not twisting today, you'll just hold chair. Hands to prayer. Inhale your breath. You can air twist or you can hook and twist. So air twist looks more like this, where you're just kind of in a hovering position and really working on keeping your body nice and aligned. Yeah, look sideways, look up. The weight's in your heels. The breath is flowing. Chair, pull it around. Yeah, and then like really sit in the chair. Fire up the lower half of the body, fire up the upper half of the body, and then fold over those legs. Let the head go. Long spine sets you up. You can step, you can float. Keep yourself moving here through vinyasa. Smooth transition through the up dog, hips up and back down dog. This is like one of my favorite ways to get into triangle. So just step the left foot forward and through, turn the back foot on a strong angle, pick your distance, make sure your feet are aligned, and then you find your triangle pose. It feels really good. The back leg is on a little bit of an angle and it's always straight. The front leg can have a little bend. And then you want to feel like you're leaning back a little bit. And then you settle into the shape and you just breathe. Neck is neutral, gaze is neutral. You can look sideways, you can look up. Let your body feel the gripping of those hips, the side ribs long. Inner and outer thighs are strong. Keeping the shape strong and structured, just look down. Your right hand can slide to your hip. Your block moves forward enough that you can find your balance. And you step up into Ardha. And I've always have one side that's better than the other. The left hip grips in. The left foot has to stay forward. Flex the top foot. Nice, Erica. Beautiful, Katie. Add in whatever it is that you need here. Bending of the top leg or just keeping it basic. Sometimes the balance is challenging enough. Steering of those bottom ribs. If you are kicking, the kick goes behind you for sugarcane. Two more breaths. Regular Ardha, if you added anything funny or fancy. Transition is slow. Right hand to the floor, square off your hips first, then land your feet at the top. Sit immediately into chair. Yeah, because it's like your mind is set up. Chair pose. Drag the hands to prayer. You could just stay like this. You can air twist a little, or you can hook and get in there. You're hooking and twisting to the left. What's important is the alignment. The feet, the shins, the knees, the hips, all aligned. Spine is long. You look sideways, you look up. And the twist is happening in those little baby ribs. Chair pose. Pull it around. Press up to stand up. Drag it to prayer. Drop your arms. Feel what we've done so far. Right leg is your balancing leg. Left leg bends up into tree. Yeah. Anywhere along the inside of the leg is fine. So if your balance is crummy today, it could be down low. Good. Grow your branches if you can. There's a gripping of the hips, an elevation of your side body. Keep the arms moving up for me. All I want you to do is cross your foot over your thigh bone. So it looks like this now. And then start to sit ankle to knee. So steer your hips way back. And then starting to lean forward, leaning way out. Sometimes you need to use your hand to kind of encourage this thigh to open naturally. And then blocks to the center. Yeah. And get in there. So there's a flexing of your foot around the outside of your right tricep. That's great. A steering of your hips back. Yeah, this you should feel. You feel a lot in this pose. Erica, take the block in the center, just like this. Yeah. Uh-huh. And what you're doing is you're actually trying to create a shelf for your shin with the back of your arms. And then if you can, you flex your foot around the outside of that right tricep because that's where the pose is going when eventually you fly. Yeah. Weight stays back in the heel. To get out of the pose, you want to move slow. So as you come up, your hands to your hips, and then lower the left foot down, and then just stand. It's intense at times. It can be powerful. Stand on your left leg. Bend your right leg up. First, we take tree because it kind of grounds you and it creates the shape, and it's much easier. Always try and do something a little easier before doing something a little more challenging. And then the arms move up. Gripping of the hips in, side ribs long, fix your eyes. So keep the arms moving up. Don't let them drop. All you're going to do is remove the foot and cross it over the top of the thigh and create a figure four, and then start to sit. And depending on how this hip is working out for you, some days you just need to slide that foot across a little more. Reach way out and then set yourself up. If you only have one block, place it in the center. If you have two, one under both hands, keep the chest really open. You want to kind of crouch down into it, bending at that left thigh, weights in that heel, and then see if you can, there you go. You flex the foot around the outside of that left tricep. That's how you're going into that glute and piriformis. And then just breathe. And just stick with it. Something happens to our mind when we hold the poses, besides getting a little angry and frustrated. A little more breath. So to get out of the pose, you want to move slow, weight in that standing leg. Try not to let your right leg touch, hands to hips, and then lower the right foot down. And then just stand at the top of the mat, feet about hips width distance. Step your left foot back about 3 feet. Hands come behind your back. You want to crawl your hands up your back into reverse prayer. Now, if that doesn't work for you today, you're going to go opposite elbows, okay? Inhale, lift the heart and chest, and then exhale. I always soften my front leg as I start to hinge, and then you start to come down. And the idea is this does test your balance. If having the hands bound is really not working out today, you can just place your hands down on the floor or blocks, breathing of your right hip up and back. Yeah. Ripping the hips in, anchoring the legs, breathing across the back side of the body. Start to lift the torso up, come up nice and slow. As you rise all the way up, your right hand comes to your hip, your left arm extends up. Halfway down, steer your right hip back, and then come the rest of the way down into twisting triangle. If you're not twisting, just repeat. Right hand slides to the flat part of the back. Right arm then peels open towards the sky. The idea is you get to a pose like this, and it should feel pretty seamless in your body. Like you shouldn't be pushing your body into a twist. You feel enough without feeling too much. Anchor that back foot. Feel like someone's got you by your hips and they steer you to the back edge of the mat. Exhale the breath. Right hand comes to the ground. Come to the fingertips and then just step left foot to the top, hips width distance. Long spine on your inhale. Hands can always rest on your shins. Exhale, fold into yourself. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag it to prayer. Drop your arms. Left leg stays. Right leg steps back about 3 feet or so. We're going to take a little back bend first before we go into that. So hands kind of creep behind your back or opposite elbow. Right rib steer. So I always like to try and open the chest up a little, look up, and then exhale, start to come forward. My left leg always has to bend in order to get into this. Back leg strong. This side is much better for me personally. Breathe your left hip up and back, anchor that back leg, and then kind of just drape yourself down. Strong anchoring of the legs, nice and slow and controlled as you start to come up. As you rise to the top, you take a second, release the bind, left hand on hip, right arm extends nice and big. You come halfway down, then I actually use my left hand to steer my hip back, come the rest of the way down. A block is really useful. Instep a foot is recommended. Left hand on the flat part of your back. This gives you information like what's going on behind me because we never know. And then we stack it open and we steer. Jess, walk your left foot over to Reggie to the left a little. And I think it's going to be better balance. Yeah. So it's all about the pelvis being aligned. Perfect. Watch at the right shoulder. Everyone doesn't rotate in. Yeah. It looks good, Reg. And just breathe. Couple more. Exhale the breath, both hands down, step to a down dog. When you get to dog, roll forward plank. Drop to your forearms for forearm plank. You can clasp your hands and bring your elbows in a little close. You can always drop your knees if you need to. Lengthen your tailbone. Sorry, Bonnie. You're putting me to sleep. Look forward with your eyes. There you go. Perfect, Katie. Stay with it, guys. Forearm plank hold. So keeping your core really engaged, one palm at a time, press up to plank. Halfway to a push-up, up dog pulls you through, hips up and back, downward facing. Right foot lands, back knee stays lifted, rise, crescent lunge. Hands to prayer. Lean way out in front of you, hook the elbow and twist. So if you're not doing this, you can air twist, you can easy twist, you can drop your back knee. There's a gripping of your right hip in as you look sideways and up. Point your right elbow towards the sky. So if you want, Katie, you could just work on a little like hamstring extension. Your arms can stay up or your hands can stay in prayer. You could just kind of straighten the leg and rebend the leg. You can drop the knee just a couple inches, just kind of fire up the glute. Yeah, just small little movements just to kind of hyper focus on areas. Lean back a little, guys. Get the crown of the head to line up with that back heel. Twist open. Two more. Hands to frame your front foot. Good. Step to a plank. Halfway to a push-up. Up dog, smooth. Hips up and back down dog. No fancy business. Just step the left foot forward. Crescent lunge. Just keep it moving. Yeah. Hands to prayer. The trick with this is if you lean way out, like you're going to go to a warrior three, that creates the length, and then it's much easier to hook and twist. Yes, back leg is supercharged up. Weight is a little bit more forward. Yeah, crown of the head lines up with that back heel, and then you get in there. Any of these variations, modified, back knee down. Get in there a little bit. Two more. Hands to frame your front foot, plank. Push up position, chaturanga, up dog, smooth. Hips up and back, down dog. Right knee lands into a half pigeon. Yep, and then fold. I take my block sometimes and I kind of drape my forehead on it. Yeah, if my head doesn't make it to the ground. And then just let your body, but more importantly, your mind absorb into the pose. It's hard to be still sometimes. Katie, you good? Yeah, it's definitely hard with a large baby in your belly. Yeah, but you're gonna bounce right back because you kept yourself in such good shape. So good for you. Melt in a little deeper. Use the strength of your body, start to come up. We're gonna add on here. So bring the weight onto the right side and sweep the left leg around. Half tree, little tree, baby tree. We did this yesterday. Right hand behind you for sail. Yeah, right hand goes behind. Yeah, perfect. It's like a cross between side plank and a back bend. Lift up a little higher. Exhale the breath lower down. When you hit the ground, you're going to bring your right knee forward and your left knee on top. Now, this is a bull seat, so it's a little funky to get into. So the best way to do it is to kind of rock your weight forward into a little tabletop and see if you can get your left knee on top of your right. Now, you'll split your feet way apart, and as you start to crawl back, you may notice that your hips are really far from the ground, so you may need to take the block going this direction and place it underneath to sit. Just depends on the body. It's great. If you can go directly to the ground, that's awesome. How does it feel? Do you feel anything? Some people feel a lot. I feel a lot without the block, Jesus. So you can hook the big toes, inhale, lift the chest. You can just stay upright, and that's plenty for a lot of us. This is targeting outer hips, TFL. That's where all the hip points kind of insert. If you need more, because you've been blessed with being very open, you can fold. My fold is no fold. There's no folding. Just breathing here, about 5 breaths. Good. Pull your torso up to get out. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll rock forward into this little tabletop. We'll unravel our legs back, down dog. Yeah. Left knee forward, half pigeon. Yeah, right to the other side. And then we fold. Yeah, if you need the block underneath your left side or a bolster, you could place that there and then fold forward. And every exhale breath, opportunity to kind of clear the space, get a little deeper, move a little further into the hip. Reg, is it okay? So you could bring your foot in a little closer to you. Yeah. And then you could take your block if you need and always put it here. That looks better, actually. So the mind at this point during the practice starts to wander and like what you have to do next. It's really normal. So just see if you could check back in and just really be present for a few more minutes. Start to use the strength of your body to come up. Do it slow. Drop to the left side. Sweep the right leg around. Little tree. Katie, how does this feel for you? This is a good way to back bend when you can't lay down. Left palm goes flat. Inhale and exhale, lift up. Good. Exhale, the breath start to lower, come out real slow. So as you hit the ground, swing the left knee forward, and this time it's going to be the right leg on top. So the best way to get in is to kind of tip forward and arrange this way. So the right thigh on top of the left, you split your feet evenly apart, and then you start to sit back. Ooh. Hook the big toes. You could just stay upright. Or you could fold forward if you need a little more. Close your eyes and just be here. Good. Pull yourself up. You're going to unravel your legs. Lift the legs up for a boat pose. You're not going to do this, Katie. Just you could take a hamstring release if you want. Arms go forward. We have to row the boat a little. Yeah. So the hands I actually like to bring down here, and then you lower and you hover. If this pulls in the lower back, the knees can be lifted at any height. They could be up straight, and this is going to be a little less intense into the lower back. Halfway down or hovering closer is going to be most intense. Pull it up to a boat. Lower down. High boat. Low boat. Lower back spreads. Eyes of the shoulders lift. High boat. One more. Low boat. And scissor. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. Lower back presses. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Keep going. 8, 7. It's getting good. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Give your knees a squeeze. Feet to the floor for bridge. Favorite back bend. You can take reverse tabletop. You could just prop yourself up and take a supported kind of, yeah. So if you're gonna go into a full wheel, feet forward, flip your palms, chin to chest. I'm just gonna do a little bridge here. Back of the triceps press. You could clasp the hands and lift yourself up. Reg, you can take your block, slide it underneath your lower back. Yeah. Nice. Erica, take your feet in a little closer. Good. And then hands clasp around the block. Good. And then if you want, you can lift one leg, then the other leg up. That's great. Slide the block, Erica, underneath. I don't know how you would do that otherwise. That would have been like a real interesting pose. Yeah. So we're in a little bit of a back bend or an inversion with a block underneath the lower back. About 5 more breaths wherever you are. Good. To get out of the pose, bend your knees in half, take your feet flat to the floor. Once they come down, remove the block out from underneath. And then hug the knees in towards the chest. Give them a big squeeze. Reach for the outer blades of your feet for happy baby. Pull the knees down around the rib cage. Good. Hug the knees in and actually take the block going the long direction in between the thighs. And together, legs together, drop the knees over to the right and upper body to the left. Good. And then move through center. Hips have to shimmy to the right and then legs over to the left. Come up to center, remove the block, and squeeze the knees in really, really tight. And then slide yourself into a Shavasana, complete rest. So if you have a little towel or something to put over your eyes so the sun isn't in your face, do that. Complete rest. The best part of the practice right here, the next 2 minutes. Let your body, your mind, your breath, everything just flop. Take a full breath in. Take a large exhale breath out. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Arms reach up over the top of the head. Hug the knees in towards the chest, give them a big squeeze. And with your eyes closed, see if you can rock yourself up to seat. Sit up nice and tall. Shoulders drop down the back, eyes stay closed. Just feel for a second. Always take the opportunity to feel the effects of the practice. Bringing you back down. Hands to prayer, bow the head. A moment of gratitude always. Lift the head, open the eyes. Namaste. Good job. Job well done. Yeah, weather couldn't be more perfect here. We'll see you next time.